So yeah, I guess a quick little introduction about my good mate Dale. I guess I'll give you a quick little background about how we met. And I guess how we met actually ties in quite well with the stuff that we'll be talking about, and probably with some of the things that Hugh was talking about as well. So I met Dale through work. I used to work for an organisation up in Brisbane that Dale was a part of, a really good organisation, and we started working together, and I was kind of case manager for about 25 families, and one of those was Dale and his family. And I kind of realised pretty early on that Dale and I got along really well. We like a laugh. We have lots of fun together, and we got along really well. And I kind of made that decision that I didn't really want to work with Dale. I didn't want to be paid to be a part of his life because we got along so well. We were real friends, not paid friends, and we didn't want to kind of have a professional relationship. We were just mates, and we wanted to go to the pub together and have a beer. So we thought that sounded better. And I guess the way it came about for Dale and I to be living together was that I also became good friends with Dale's mother, Anita, and one day she kind of called me up, and I suppose because I knew people that were around the same age as Dale, and she said, do you know of anybody that might want to move out with Dale, because he's been bugging us to get out of home for a while. He's sick of his brother.
You're the turd.
Well, yeah.
Yep.
We won't say that, but yeah. But he was quite keen to move out from a really early age, and I think that's quite a testament to his family, but also to Dale himself. And so Anita called me up and said, "Hey, do you know anyone that might want to move out with Dale?" And I think I'd broken up with my girlfriend a few months before, and I was living by myself, and I thought, yeah, I know someone that might want to move out with him. So yeah, we kind of went from there. It was supposed to be a 2-month. Thanks, buddy.
Yep. Thanks, buddy. Oh, Brody.
It was supposed to be a 2-month trial for him to practice moving out of home, and it's been a year and a half now, and we're still kind of stuck together. So
Because John's always bugging me about the PS4.
Yeah, Dale also stole his brother's PlayStation.
Yep.
So.
Why?
But we won't mention that either.
Yep. No.
So I suppose the important part of that, we joke about it a bit, but Dale's a really outgoing guy, and he'll talk to anybody. I suppose I want to share one quick little story, but the important thing to know when we're speaking about these things is that it wasn't always as easy, and Dale you weren't always as outgoing and chatty as you are now. But just a really good example, I guess, of to kind of follow on from what Hugh was saying, is that that kind of concept of having those valued roles, and do you know your neighbour? I think that's a really important thing, and for Dale, the answer to that question is a ridiculous.
What?
You mean the opposite of that?
No.
It's like it's a really resounding yes. Dale knows everybody. He's always chatting with everyone, and I'll just tell a quick little story about how that kind of manifests perfectly with Dale. Is this year we had the State of Origin. It's a Queensland thing. It's called Rugby League. It's a bit different.
Go to Queenslanders.
It's a bit different to
Where
AFL.
Is it worse?
Yeah, so we won, which is great. But basically, for the first game, we were trying to figure out.
I stuffed it.
No, don't worry about that. So for the first game, we were trying to figure out, what we were going to do, whether we were going to have a boys' night in or go out or whatever.
Boys' night in.
So we ended up with a boys' night in. Had a couple of beers and whatnot, and we invited a couple of our mates over. And one of my friends that was coming over was my buddy Pete, who I went to high school with, and we'd been long-term friends. And Dale hadn't met Pete yet. And so we were sitting out on the balcony having a drink with my other friend that was there, and our friend Pete rocked up. He's got kind of long hair. It was dark, but we saw Pete kind of turn up, and then I yelled over the balcony and went, "Oh, hi Pete," and Dale quickly got up to go to go to the door to let Pete in, and I went, "Oh, that's actually not Pete. That's just a random guy that happens to have kind of long hair as well." It was a bit dark and we couldn't really see. But Dale had already hopped up to go and let Pete in. So Dale went to the door, this guy pressed the buzzer, or maybe he didn't even press the buzzer. Dale went downstairs to greet him enthusiastically.
Yeah, get him in.
And so Dale went, "Hey, Pete, how's it going?" And the guy went, "Oh, I'm Jared." And Dale went, "Great, come on up."
Oh, great.
And so this guy, I mean, luckily he was quite cool. But,
The wrong person.
but this guy,
Great.
Jared, just kind of turned up and went, "Hi, I'm Jared." And Dale, enthusiastically invited him
The
in.
wrong person.
Yeah, it was the wrong person, but it was a really good example because that guy was great. And we ended up hanging out all night with him because he'd turned up at the wrong house. And I think
Oh, great.
for about 2 hours he hung out with us having beers and watching the footy, and it was great, But I guess,
Having ciders and
Yeah,
great time.
it was a great time. And I guess the good part, or the serious part of that kind of funny story is that I suppose if it was me that went to the door, I would have gone, "Oh, hi, Pete. Actually, that's not Pete." And I
It's Jared.
probably wouldn't have thought to invite old Jared in. But Dale, has got to the point in his life where he's got that confidence. And as I said before, it wasn't always that way. But he's confident to go, he seems like a friendly guy, let's invite him in. So what a good example of exactly what Hugh was talking about, hey? All right. So basically we're going to talk a little bit about the story so far and about Dale's life. So this is a bit of a collection of Dale's family members. He's obviously got his close family. So do you want to tell people who... come over this way, mate. Do you want to tell people who's at the top there? Or you can look here.
It's me and my parents, and Joel's and Joel might be shorter and Joel might be taller than me.
He's a little bit taller than
Jake's
you.
the same height. Can't believe he's grown.
So
Can't believe it.
So in the middle is Dale's cousin Jake, who is slightly
Sophie's
taller
the
than him.
shortest.
And your two aunties. So who's on the right there, in the white top?
My auntie Marika and the other one, gorgeous Helen. I call her gorgeous. I don't know why she started that.
Yep. So that's Dale. In the red top there is Dale's auntie Helen, who is gorgeous, gorgeous auntie Helen. And then Dale's extended family down the bottom, all the cousins. And then the black and white one is Dale and his brother when they were smaller and much cuter. So
Great.
not sure what happened, but So the early days.
Oh, great.
I wasn't. Dale likes having embarrassing photos of him
I-
up.
Oh, Brody.
Look how cute you were, mate. That's great.
Oh, great.
So I got the background, I guess, a little bit. But you started school in Darwin, right?
Yeah.
And then you actually came to Victoria. So you probably shouldn't whinge about the cold too much. You should know how it goes. And then. But since grade one, he's actually been in school in Brisbane. Initially, he went to a special school, right?
The annoying part, I got pulled out of class. I was St. Williams. I absolutely hate that. Habit.
You did get pulled out of class a lot, but
And read.
Yeah.
Hate it.
You're not supposed to say you hate it, but it's true, There's
True.
always parts that you don't like, but initially he was in a special school, but believe it or not, which is actually quite surprising.
Yeah, boys and girls school.
Yeah,
Both.
That's always good. But when you meet Dale now, you wouldn't know it, but he actually didn't speak for a really long time, and so you went to a mainstream school.
Yeah.
And that kind of forced you into, communicating and interacting with others, and that sense of belonging. I think that probably ties in pretty well. And so those pictures there, the middle one is Dale at Scouts.
Scouts are right.
What did you think of Scouts?
Nothing. Boring.
Boring. But what did you learn from Scouts?
Roads, making fires and worst part, put it out.
Putting out fires, that's important as well. Putting them
The
out.
picture up
also.
that you see, gymnastics, I don't like at all.
Yeah.
It was.
You
I
said-
fell off.
Yeah, you fell off. But I think the important thing and the good thing about Dale is, it sounds very cliched, but if he does fall off in things like gymnastics,
And try it again.
boom, got it.
Boom.
Yeah. But that's just Dale's nature. But I think it's that's always kind of been encouraged. And I think with you, mate, one of the things which I really, I guess, as an outsider to his family, and I wasn't there growing up, but I feel like I know you probably as well as anybody these days,
Yep.
is, you know, Dale's always had expectations upon him, you know, and his family has always had high expectations, both of Dale and of the community, I suppose, as well. So, you know, you've always been expected to contribute at home,
Yep.
and be a contributing member of the family, but also to kind of society in general. But also, you know, I know that Dale's family, his mum especially, have always kind of valued if they
The
see...
big nose dad, the big nose.
And his dad, his big-nosed dad, yeah. That they've always wanted you to meet people, but meet people that are accepting of him. And so one thing which I guess Dale's family has taught me is that, you know, if you're looking to find a job, for example, so Dale's, you know, looking to get a second job at the moment, and there are a few places which didn't seem all that interested in kind of having on board.
Didn't work at all.
But I think it's quite important to move on from those people, because there are plenty of people out there that are happy to have him, and he doesn't, you know, you don't want to work somewhere that you're not wanted, you know. So I think finding those, and it was good to see, you know, David earlier this morning, you know, somewhere where he's really wanted and valued. So I think having those valued roles is really important as well. So here's Dale at school.
The worst part is the formals are totally sick.
It was sick, eh? And who did you... Oh, this is a good one as well. Who did you take to the formal?
2 girls. The best part, I was a pimp. Oh, God. Oh, God.
He was medium pimping. But yeah, you know, but again, because, you know, that as well, you know, I heard, and, you know, I've talked about it with Dale as well, that when you were younger, you weren't always as confident with girls, but now, 2 girls to the formal, hey? Too easy.
Yep.
So school...
The best part of the formal, I'd hit someone a bit in the head, the teacher.
How was that the good part?
No, because I was on the dance floor with the girls, like, come on, Georges, let's go to dance.
And you accidentally hit someone
Yep,
in the head, right? Yeah.
the teacher.
Just to clarify, accidentally.
Yep, a teacher in the head like that.
Okay, so what about this here, matey?
A train,
And
toilets.
Yeah, and so who helped you get the train when you were in school?
My parents.
Yeah.
My parents didn't work.
No, and who else helped you with
Barney didn't work.
Yeah, it did. And who else?
Natalie.
Yeah, so I'll just talk a little bit more about that. So when Dale was in high school, he had a couple of people that were close by. So some of them were kind of work people, but have since become friends, kind of the same as I have with Dale. And they helped him to catch the train when he was starting out at school in grade 8 or 9?
Yeah, grade 8.
Grade 8, yep. And so he, you know, used to catch the train with them, and then after a while they weren't needed, and he was able to catch the train independently. And you,
Yeah.
did you catch the train to school every day?
Yeah.
Sure did.
The morning part wake up because morning. I'm not a morning person.
No, nor am I though. So it's fine. It works well. But yeah, so Dale, you know, used to catch the train independently to and from school every day.
The cooking class was like the best subject ever.
Yeah, so Dale loved the cooking class, which you can
The
see up there.
Don't like maths at all.
Don't worry about the ones you don't like. I don't like maths either, but you know.
You have to do it.
But what about catching the train nowadays? So, you know, initially Dale needed a bit of support to catch the train, but
Yep.
nowadays?
Like a friend like Meg Wilson, she'd like me as a friend, and
Yeah.
just handing her, just like showing off to like the all hello girls, showing off to them,
Yeah.
swimming around on the train. You know the pot on the train, swimming around on it. I
Oh,
did
right.
that.
Swinging around it.
Yeah.
You can sense there's a recurring theme here of, you know, showing off to girls on the train. But, you know, but that's also a confidence thing, you know. So this is some of the things that Dale did like to do back in the day when he was in high school.
Freezing cold in Canada.
Yeah.
People that absolutely don't like people in Melbourne. Like people that absolutely don't like going to Canada. Like
Colder than
Yeah,
Melbourne, yeah. So do you want to talk about some of these things that you just come over here? Do you want to talk about some of the things that you used to do up there?
the rock climbing is absolutely the scariest part. Like first time I did it, like yeah, screw that. I still might as well do it anyway.
That's right. So you're a bit scared at first, but then you are an absolute pro.
Yep.
Playing bass guitar as well, as you can see there on the left. It's a little bit dark down the bottom, but that is actually Dale there rocking out on the bass. And some Scouts events. You did some camps and things like that.
The camps, I don't like camps at all.
But you learned a lot of good things.
The best part is pulling a month. Like on the same as David did.
Yeah. So do you want to tell people how long you worked at KFC for?
5 years.
Yeah. So
It's like so long time, might as well get out of it.
you did, yeah. But I think, as Deb kind of mentioned,
And David.
and yeah, so similar to David, but Dale started when he was 15 at KFC.
Yeah, for 15. Yeah, I'm now 21.
He's 21 now, and I think one of the important things that Dale and his family kept in mind when he started working at KFC was that it wasn't going to be his career, just like all the rest of us. Dale kind of wanted to have that dodgy teenager job of working in KFC. Not that there's anything wrong with the job, but
Because the night party, Macca's said no, the Macca's said no.
yeah.
And so I was like, went home and was like, said, what the hell am I going to do? Like, I was like, a phone call the next day. I got a phone call from KFC. They said yes.
So there you
Like,
go. And it was great, and you had a really good time.
Macca's
there.
like, said no, I just don't bother work at Macca's. And
Yeah, don't worry about Macca's.
Don't bother.
But
Don't bother working.
so I actually had the pleasure of working alongside Dale for a little while
Bernie Gurney.
at KFC.
Fun.
Yeah, and Dale met some really good friends there. So it was quite interesting for me because I was brought on because Dale had been working there for a few years at that stage, maybe 3 or 4 years, and he'd been kind of just doing the same tasks when there was a change of management. So a new manager came on board, and Dale had just been
boss, Darren.
yeah. So he'd been just getting Dale to kind of stock drinks
Still got
fridges and things like that.
And Bernie came in and just might as well get the cooking anyway.
And what did you do once Bernie? What are some of the jobs that you did once Bernie came on?
The hottest part after change the fries, I have to change the oil.
Yeah. And did you cook the chicken?
Yep,
Did you cook the popcorn chicken?
yep,
Did you cook the chips?
yep,
Did you run the place?
yep.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much.
So it was just cool. It was good for me to see as well. So I was there to kind of.
Because the best part making burgers, and the chips fried. Shut up. So it was because the burgers, the chips went off the beef it, go back to making burgers, still all the same time.
You were, yeah.
In one hole once.
Yeah, and it was actually quite impressive. That's pretty much exactly what I was going to say.
Because I was at,
We'll just go one at a time. okay?
Yeah.
Okay. And so, yeah, I guess it was impressive for me to see when I'd heard that all Dale had been doing was stocking drinks fridges, and I turned up and here's Dale spinning around and beep, beep, and, he's kind of doing 5 different things at once, and, it was good to see that this new manager,
Bernie.
knew like I did about all the things that Dale could be doing and actually gave him, invested that stock in him and knew that she didn't have to, cotton wool him, that he would be fine. Once he's taught something, he would do it. And yeah, similar to David, obviously a different organisation and a different role, but Dale won an award. Do you want to tell people what the award was?
Florida month.
Yeah, so Dale got Employee of the Month, and I'm not sure if you guys can read it there, but it was...
The picture wasn't the picture, it was not on there. The picture was me holding the KFC Florida of the month.
Yeah, we got good photos of that, but this is a bit easier for people to see. So basically it was for, like Dale had said with the gymnastics, it's even if it's something that he's hasn't done before, or he might be, a little afraid of even, it's about kind of conquering those fears and he got some recognition for that. So it was really good to see. But now, the real job. So this is the one that's much more important to Dale. Do you want to tell people, just step over here and tell people what your job is that you do now?
Because the best part is go my line for people. Like the people like I got now 70 clients. I was like, my God, I don't know how to get that much clients.
And yeah.
I never got that much.
Well, I can answer that as to why he's got so many clients, and it's because he's really good at what he does, you know. So Dale, the picture on your far left there is of Dale's worker, Mark. So Dale, as you can see on his business card there, is the director of his
it's
company.
me.
What's your company called?
Speedy Weeds.
Speedy Weeds. And
Dale, the last name, Speedy with the S.
Yep. And so Dale is the director. He runs the company.
The whole thing.
And he employs Mark, not the other way around. So Dale took over. His father had a mowing business, and his father actually
Just took over me. And
yep. So you took it over, but his father sold him his clients. It was all official and legitimate.
because I'm the most of my client knows my dad. Most of them.
Yeah, but a lot of them don't. So a lot of them was Dale making new connections and meeting new clients. And the reason he was able to do that was because he does such a good job. And the way that we found Mark was we tried a few different workers beforehand. Obviously, we wanted somebody that was good at the mowing side of things, but we also wanted somebody that understood.
It wasn't Mark, it was Aaron back the truck into the fence.
Yeah, his previous worker did back the trailer into the fence. So he got moved along.
Yep, I got rid of him. I got rid of him.
You did, and there were a few, and
Paul didn't work. Aaron didn't work. Tried Pete.
Peter as
Called
well.
me Princess. Barbie girl. I don't know why.
He did call Dale a princess, which was quite funny.
He said, Pete, suck it up.
And you told him to suck it up, yeah. But it was interesting for me to see that process as well, because we needed to find somebody that was good with the mowing side, but also somebody that was good with Dale and would kind of encourage him in the right ways and not get frustrated. And so it did take a bit of a feeling out process.
It takes time to get this done with.
Yeah. But we got there in the end, and Mark's fantastic. He's really good. He's great with Dale. He runs his own mowing business when he's not working with Dale, so he knows his stuff when it comes to mowing. But whose equipment do you guys use?
Mark's.
No. Sorry, that was a bad question. Right at the moment, whose equipment do you usually use?
Mine.
Yeah. So that's Dale's ute that you see in the photos. Dale's trailer, Dale's mowing equipment.
It's an old trailer.
It's all his, which is kind of good to see as well. Next slide. So this is just quickly, I'm just a bit conscious of time, but I'll quickly go through. So this is some of Dale's friends.
At the Gabba, it was me, Monique. The other woman knows, the other one in the seat. She knows Monique and...
Yeah, there's a few, might be a few familiar faces for some of the Queensland people, but there's a couple of very handsome guys down the bottom drinking cocktails.
It's huge. It's like onions about that big of it.
It was quite a big cocktail. That's you and me, buddy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I guess the good thing is, and probably what I wanted to quickly say about this is that, in terms of making those connections, what Dale does exceedingly well, and again, which he didn't always have, is that...
The Johnny Cash, that one, the Johnny Cash concert at Gold Coast.
You did go to Johnny Cash, that's true.
Yep.
I was just talking about something else though. See the picture right at the top there with a whole bunch of people, a whole gang of people at the footy. So some of those people there at the back. So basically what I wanted to stress is the importance of not pigeonholing people, which I think Dale's family does a really good job of. So I suppose what I mean by that is I met Dale in a bit of a work context, but his family and I recognised that we would be really good as mates, proper friends. And so Anita had kind of approached me, Dale's mum had approached me and said, would you guys seem to get along really well? And I said the same thing. I said, yeah, let's be proper friends, And the good thing is...
We always hang out.
The knock-on effect of that, and not to pigeonhole. So I wasn't just Brody, the work guy. I then became Brody, the friend, And then, of course, that follows on. And so friends with my girlfriend at the time, there with the purple hair, who, also became friends with my friends, who are a couple of guys at the back there.
Derek.
Derek at the back there.
Stewie doesn't like the lines.
That's true, but that
That's
doesn't matter.
True.
And Monique down the front was somebody that Dale used to work with. That's her friend. That's her other friend. Her other friend.
Katie.
So you see what I mean? That the kind of knock-on effect and how that works. So I'll just quickly close. I'll just flick through these a little bit. So what work has allowed Dale to do is to travel to China and Bali with friends, which is a pretty amazing accomplishment. I think I know after talking to Dale's family that if they'd have said that he would independently go with just a mate of his to China and walk the Great Wall of China, if people had said that when he was young and not speaking at all, I think it's a pretty impressive accomplishment. He's been to Canada, China, Bali. Where do you want to go next?
London for a week.
For a week? What? Try a year, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know what I'm thinking about it.
So that's on the agenda, and he'll do it as well.
Because
That's the thing.
the Great Wall of China is so slippery.
Great. Slippery, huh?
This is my best day of my life, 21st birthday, until midnight.
It was.
Party.
It was. We went till
Hey, buddy,
midnight and we were partying it up.
Let me tell him about them. Tell him.
We've just got to go a bit quickly, mate. So we'll just wrap it up. But again, this is kind of all of the people that have come to know.
Monique absolutely boasting speech about me.
Yeah,
my God.
We did give some embarrassing speeches, but that's the 21st, right?
What's the speech about? Tell him.
It doesn't matter.
Come on, Brody. Tell him the speech. Tell him.
It might not be safe for public, So this is us at home.
Out.
So this is, this on the first photo on the left there.
With my PA.
Yep.
I spoke to her all day yesterday on the phone.
Yep. So I'll just quickly run through what those are. So the one on the far left is us. Don't worry about that. Dale just got a message. The one on the left is us on the first day that Dale moved in with me. So that was my place, and then it became our place, And as I said at the start, it was supposed to be a 2-month experiment of me going, all right, Dale, well, I'll help you learn some of those skills so that you'll be fine to move into your own home. But we have too much fun, so we kept it going. There's Dale cooking us dinner, us having a beer or a cider or something down there.
A cider.
And then at the top is Dale's PA. So that's another good thing that comes from working and having money, is that you can employ a personal assistant. So she helps Dale. What does she help you with, Matty?
Whiteboarding, and if I'm stressed out, and then I'll talk to her into it.
Yeah, so she helps Dale organise these things. And again, another recurring theme is Dale surrounded by pretty girls.
Yeah.
And so then the next chapter, these are some of the things which Dale, when I asked him what are some of the things that you'd like to do next.
Get married.
That's up there, yeah. More travel, as we mentioned, to London. He's looking for a second job at the moment. So since
really
he finished
hard.
up with KFC, he's going to find another kind of retailish or food kind of job. But he's been doing coffee courses, so that might be one. And
in
then
the city.
And what about this one?
Driving excavators.
That'll be heaps of fun. Dale's moved with me into my new place, so I've just got a new place, which is a house, and it will eventually just end up being my place. Dale's parents are overseas at the moment, so he's
next week. America for a month.
Oh yeah, they leave next week. So Dale's going to stay with me for about a month. But then Dale is going to be moving into his own home, which is kind of the next step. So that's kind of the plan, hey?
Yeah.
And then who knows, he might meet a nice girl and they might move together, or, there's lots of possibilities. But that's the plan for the next while, right? You agree?
Yeah.
Sounds good, hey? All right, that's it for us. Thanks very much for having us, guys.